Introduction. Okay, am I audible as well as visible properly?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I have chosen this because it is a trending genre, science fiction and climate fiction. So literature of the present time focuses on the changing world and the changing human life. With the inventions and innovations in science, technology, and the digital world, environment and mankind have been affected to a great extent, both positively and negatively. Climate fiction is among the trending genres in the postmodern age, whose purpose is to address the environmental issues caused directly or indirectly by human beings and their consequences. The present paper endeavors to analyze the one of the trilogy by J.G.Ballard, and the work that I am dealing with is The Burning World, which is the original title, and also later on it was known. Just a moment, I'm sorry. Yeah, later on it has been known as The Drought. So The Drought is more famous title, but the original title is The Burning World. And in the trilogy, just to mention, the other two novels are The Drowned World and The Crystal World. So I am dealing with the Burning World. Now I'm trying to analyze it from eco-dystopian perspective. My paper attempts to read it from eco-dystopian perspective. Now, what is eco-dystopia? Eco-dystopian literature bears apocalyptic societies in which some sort of ecological calamity has happened, including scarce natural resources, damaged agricultural system, or disturbance in natural cycle, or anything like this. Even before the rise of global warming, that the term is very popular these days, J.G.Ballard had written this work where he was concerned with these issues. So eco-dystopia basically talks about, there are two terms, implied there. One is ecology, another is dystopia. Ecology is the term we know well, that the work that deals with ecological aspects like nature. It talks about nature. It talks about the like that we should save nature. It it tries to raise an awareness among the readers about nature. It also studies the relationship between nature and human beings. This is ecology. And dystopian fiction mainly talks about what can be the world like. It generally warns the readers to just to make aware that we really have to be careful, cautious, and we have to nurture our environment. Otherwise, the world will be really a hell. So, eco-dystopian mainly means that that work which actually has both the aspects, ecological as well as dystopian. Nowadays, eco-dystopian themes are very recurrent in literature, and it reflects our own attitudes towards climate change in it. Okay, so this is in brief. I have tried to explain the term eco-dystopian. Now, how this eco-dystopian aspect is there, or rather the elements are there in The Burning World, right? So reading The Burning World from eco-dystopian perspective, the fierce competition for fresh water may well become a source of conflicts and wars in the future, Right. So this very sentence, makes so many things clear, that it is about the scarcity of water. The Burning World 1964 is a novel from J.G.Ballard's trilogy already mentioned. And before the term global warming came into existence, Ballard had already written this work. All that has been discussed. Let me come to the next. A question can be asked that when was the first time we thought about the importance of water? Uh, during the during the ongoing Californian droughts, or we are still ignoring the dry condition of the planet and inviting more dangerous problems? Are we pushing our existence on the brink of extinction? Water is the most calming and relaxing fluid for human life, but now it is becoming challenging for us to keep the balance of water. From the very beginning, humans, so now this is something general, that what is water, the importance, and how we are taking it for granted, that okay, there is water and we are going to get it forever, and so we just take it for granted, I would say. Now let us look at the novel. In the so actually in one of the quotations that I would not be able to read right now, it's a longer one, but Ballard himself uses the term eco-dystopian, that it is an eco-dystopian work that he has tried to compose, and or a work with eco-dystopian concerns. That is there. Okay, coming to the novel, Dr. Charles Ransom is a scientist who is the protagonist of this novel, and he's struggling to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. He has been abandoned by his wife, and he's all alone and trying to survive and find the meaning of life. And so he meets this crew of voyagers who, are in search of water, because there is water scarcity in a town, and people are searching water, and they are coming closer to the oceans to find water, or even a single drop of water. If they find, then they would be just saved. So Dr. Charles, who is the scientist, meets these people. In the novel, the cycle of nature is reversed. Earth has become a barren land, and the system of evaporation has really failed. The earth is transformed into a desert of salt. With the destruction of nature, destruction of human civilization also starts. People quarrel, they fight, they have battles over war, they kill each other. To this extent they come that they become violent, because they are not having water, and for the sake of water they can do anything now. And at the end, Ransom, the scientist, returns to his land and finds that people have found newer ways of living to adjust with this apocalyptic world. So the conclusion that Ballard draws is also interesting. Ballard depicts destructed flora and fauna when he says that the dead birds, dead leaves, and all, dead ocean, dead water, whatever the way he describes, he tries to depict the destruction of flora and fauna of the land. Yeah, so that description, I would not read the quotation. Uh, in the novel, rivers, ponds, streams, and other areas are transformed into such an extent that people cannot even recognize the actual place. So this is an important transformation or a change that is shown in this novel, that wherever there was water, now that is there only and only there is barren land and there is nothing. So this changed landscape is a kind of a shock to the people, and people are really unable to recognize the actual place. Now, another issue that rises along with water crisis is psychological conflicts, because people are, developing psychological issues, conflicts, and towards each other, their attitudes also change. Now, all of them are trying to survive this world without water, and so they all are, we can say that they are all suffering from alien.
Leave the full screen for the speaker.
So they start suffering from alienation, isolation, loneliness, depression, frustration, conflicts. So the other issues also arise from this from the environmental issue or from the natural calamity. So. But at the end, Ballard shows that people have found newer way and adjusted themselves to to survive without water, and so now the water has been replaced by sand. So it is a sand central text. At times we feel that okay, water has taken place, water has been replaced by sand, and sand has taken place of water. How people would survive, we don't know, we really wonder. Eco-dystopian means that the environmental condition is such that people, it at times we feel whether we would survive or not, and we start, finding really a meaning of life, that are we here to survive such a condition or such a calamity, then in such world. But again, we remember, what we should remember is that we are responsible. We means the human beings or mankind is responsible for whatever has happened. So such novels, such science fiction or climate fiction actually leaves us with a message that what we learn from this. Actually, this eco-dystopian work, the purpose of this work is just to warn us that all of us have to really be very careful while using the natural resources. Otherwise, it may bring it may lead to a situation or a condition where human being, or the very existence of human beings would be impossible or next to impossible. So after going through this novel, after understanding this novel, we can say that J.G.Ballard has been successful in making the novel, making a work, readable from, or analyzable or interpretable from eco-dystopian perspective. And there are so many such incidents in the novel which are, very clear, that like whenever the place is mentioned, the place which has turned just a barren land, which used to be filled with water. So wherever there are such descriptions, we actually feel, the dystopian elements there. And again, as I said, that along with the dystopian elements, along with ecological crisis, there is psychological conflict, social issues. All these issues are, parallel, growing. And this makes it really difficult for humans to live. And that's why I would conclude that this novel is full of eco-dystopian elements, and Ballard has been successful in writing a work which can be called an eco-dystopian one. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Are there any questions from our audience? Okay, so probably no questions. I can see no hands raised, nobody willing to. Okay, once again, thank you very much for the presentation.